The massive ship moved through space, like a metal mountain floating among the stars. The UES Daehan's Fury stretched 15 kilometers from nose to tail, bigger than most cities on Earth. Its gray hull gleamed under the light of distant suns, covered in weapon ports and sensor arrays that could detect a whisper across star systems. Captain Hyun-woo stood on the bridge, watching the stars through the main viewing screen. He was a tall man with kind eyes and graying hair at his temples. At 45 years old, he had spent half his life in space, but he never got tired of seeing the endless black dotted with bright points of light. "Captain, we are now entering the outer edge of the Kepler 442 system," said Min-ho from his position at the tactical station. The young officer was only 28, but he was the best tactical mind in the fleet. His fingers moved quickly over the glowing control panels as he checked their position. "Thank you, Min-ho," Hyun-woo replied. "Any signs of life in this system?" "Running deep scans now, sir," came the voice of Ji-hai from the communications station. She was a small woman with bright eyes who could speak 12 different Earth languages. "I'm not picking up any radio signals or energy signatures that would suggest intelligent life. So," Young looked up from her engineering console. She was the chief engineer and kept the massive ship running smoothly. "All systems are green, Captain. The fusion reactors are running at normal levels. We have enough power to light up a small moon if we need to." Captain Hyun-woo smiled at that. The Daehan's Fury was indeed powerful. It carried enough firepower to level continents and shields, strong enough to fly through the heart of a star. But today was supposed to be a peaceful patrol mission along the edge of human space. "Dong-woo, how are our weapons?" the captain asked. The weapons officer was a serious man who took his job very seriously. "All weapon systems are ready, sir. Kinetic cannons are loaded, antimatter torpedoes are armed, and the point defense systems are online. Though I hope we won't need any of them today." "As do I," Hyun-woo said. "We're explorers first, warriors second." The bridge was quiet except for the soft hum of computers and the gentle vibration of the ship's engines. Outside, space looked empty and peaceful. They had been traveling for 3 weeks from Earth, checking systems along the frontier for any signs of trouble or new discoveries. So Young checked her readings again. "Captain, I'm getting some interesting energy readings from the 4th planet in this system. It might be worth investigating." "What kind of readings?" Hyun-woo asked. "Unusual mineral formations. Could be rare elements that would be useful for ship construction. Nothing dangerous, just interesting." Ji-hai suddenly straightened in her chair. "Sir, I'm picking up something strange on long-range sensors. Very faint, but there's definitely something out there." Min-ho's hands flew over his controls. "Confirmed. Multiple contacts at the edge of sensor range. They're big, and there are a lot of them." Captain Hyun-woo felt his stomach tighten slightly. "How many is a lot?" "I count at least 200 separate objects, sir. They're too far away to get detailed scans, but they're definitely artificial. Ships of some kind." The bridge fell silent. In all of humanity's expansion into space, they had never encountered another intelligent species. Earth scientists had always wondered if they were alone in the universe. Now, it seemed, they were about to find out. "Are they moving toward us?" Hyun-woo asked. "Hard to tell at this range," Min-ho replied, "but they don't appear to be running away either." So Young ran quick calculations on her computer. "If those are ships, Captain, they're much smaller than us. My sensors suggest they're maybe 800 meters long at most. Big by Earth standards, but tiny compared to us." "Maybe they're just cargo ships or civilian vessels," Ji-hai suggested hopefully. Dong-woo shook his head. "No, I'm detecting weapons signatures. Definitely military vessels. Plasma-based energy weapons, magnetic launchers, the works. These aren't peaceful traders." Captain Hyun-woo made a decision. "All right, people. This could be the most important moment in human history. We might be making first contact with an alien species. I want everyone to stay calm and professional. Ji-hai, prepare first contact protocols. Transmit basic mathematical sequences and peaceful intentions on all frequencies." "Yes, sir," Ji-hai said, her fingers already working on the communications. "Array. Min-ho, keep our weapons powered down but ready. I don't want to appear threatening, but I want us ready if things go wrong." "Understood, Captain." So Young, Make sure our shields are ready to go up at a moment's notice, but keep them down for now. We want to appear peaceful. Already on it, sir. Far away in space, the alien fleet had indeed detected the massive human ship. Commander Thexval stared at his display screen with his 4 compound eyes. The human ship showed up on his sensors, like a giant metal whale among a school of fish. Thexval belonged to the Vorthak Empire, a collection of insect-like species that had ruled this part of the galaxy for thousands of years. They were used to being the biggest and strongest wherever they went. His own flagship was considered huge by Vorthak standards, but this unknown vessel was nearly 20 times larger. What species builds ships that size? Asked his second-in-command, a nervous creature named Clickstar. Unknown species are always primitive, Thexval said with confidence. Big ships usually mean bad technology. They probably need all that size just to carry simple fusion reactors. Our ships are much more advanced even if they're smaller. The Vorthak had a simple philosophy about unknown species. Conquer first, ask questions later. In 3,000 years, they had never met a species that could stand against their advanced technology and superior numbers. Sir, we are receiving transmissions from the unknown vessel, reported the communications officer. Mathematical sequences and what appears to be some kind of peaceful greeting. Thexval made a sound that was the Vorthak equivalent of laughter. Peaceful greetings. How typical. They know they're outmatched, so they're trying to surrender before we even attack. What are your orders, sir? Signal the fleet to surround them. Demand their immediate surrender and prepare to board their vessel. We'll take whatever useful technology they have and add their species to our empire. Just another day's work. Back on the Dahan's Fury, Jihai was monitoring the alien fleet's response to their peaceful messages. Captain, I'm getting a response, but it's not what we hoped for. They're sending what appears to be demands for our surrender. Are you sure? Hyunwoo asked. The translation software is still working on their language, but the tone is definitely hostile. They want us to power down our engines and prepare to be boarded. Minho looked up from his station. Sir, the alien fleet is moving into attack formation around us. We're completely surrounded. Captain Hyunwoo took a deep breath. Humanity's first contact with alien life was not going as planned. These aliens seemed to think they were in charge of the situation. They had no idea what they were dealing with. Keep trying to communicate peaceful intentions, he ordered. Maybe this is just a misunderstanding. They might not understand that we're trying to be friendly. But as the alien ships moved closer, forming a perfect circle around the Dahan's Fury, it became clear that peaceful communication was not what these aliens had in mind. They saw a single large ship surrounded by 200 smaller vessels, and thought the odds were in their favor. They had no idea how wrong they were about to be. The alien ships appeared out of nowhere, dropping from hyperspace in perfect formation around the Dahan's Fury. Captain Hyunwoo watched as 200 vessels materialized on his viewing screen, each one sleek and dark, like hungry sharks circling their prey. My God, whispered Jihai from her communication station. They just appeared from thin air. Not thin air, So-young corrected, studying her sensor readings. They used some kind of faster-than-light travel. Their technology is definitely advanced, but I'm reading some interesting energy signatures. Their power levels are much lower than ours. Minho counted the ships on his tactical display. 203 vessels total, Captain. They range from about 600 to 800 meters in length. Definitely warships based on their weapon configurations. The alien fleet had arranged itself in a perfect sphere around the human ship, with every weapon pointed inward. It was an impressive display of coordination and military discipline. Commander Thexval aboard the Vorthak flagship felt confident as he looked at his tactical display. Perfect positioning, he told his crew. No matter which direction they try to run, we have them covered. Signal all ships to charge weapons, but do not fire yet. Let them sweat a little. On the Dahan's Fury, Jihai worked frantically at her communications console. She had been trying to establish peaceful contact for the past 20 minutes, but the alien responses were becoming more aggressive. Captain, I've made some progress with their language, she reported. Their communication system is fairly advanced. They're definitely demanding our surrender, but they're also demanding something else. They want biological samples. Biological samples? Hyunwoo asked with a frown. Yes, sir. They keep mentioning taking specimens for study. I don't think they see us as equals. They seem to think we're some kind of primitive species they can study and control. Dongwu looked up from his weapons console. Sir, all alien ships have charged weapons. Energy readings suggest plasma-based systems with significant firepower. If they all fire at once, it would be like getting hit by a small star. Captain Hyunwoo felt the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. He was potentially making decisions that would affect all of humanity's future relationships with alien species. One wrong move could start a war that might spread across the galaxy. Try again, Jihai. Send them everything we have about human culture, our peaceful intentions, our desire for friendship and trade. Make it clear that we're not here to fight. Jihai's fingers flew over her controls. She sent mathematical proofs, images of Earth, recordings of human music, and detailed explanations of humanity's desire for peaceful contact. She transmitted pictures of human families, children playing, people working together in harmony. The response from the aliens was swift and harsh. They're rejecting everything we send, Jihai said, her voice showing strain. Their leader is demanding that we immediately shut down our engines and allow them to board our ship. He says resistance is futile and that we will be absorbed into their empire, whether we cooperate or not. Empire, Minho asked. Yes, they keep referring to the Vorthak Empire. Apparently they've conquered many other species. They see this as just another routine conquest. So Young shook her head in disbelief. They think they can conquer us? Do they have any idea what this ship can do? Apparently not, Hyunwoo said, grimly. They see size and think primitive technology. They don't understand that we build big because we can, not because we have to. On the Vorthak flagship, Commander Thexval was growing impatient. The unknown aliens had been sending streams of data that his computers were still trying to translate, but he didn't care about their culture or their desires. He cared about adding another species to the Vorthak Empire. Sir, his communications officer reported, they're sending images of their homeworld and what appear to be peaceful activities. They seem to want to establish friendly relations. Peaceful relations, Thexval spat. Typical behavior from a species that knows it's outmatched. They're trying to buy time or trick us into lowering our guard. All species try this when they first encounter the might of the Vorthak Empire. What are your orders, sir? Send a final. Demand. Tell them they have 1 minute to surrender completely, or we will open fire. Make it clear that this is their last chance. The message reached the Dihan's Fury moments later. Jihai's face went pale as she translated it. Captain, they're giving us 1 minute to surrender, or they'll attack. They're not interested in peaceful contact at all. They see us as just another species to conquer. Captain Hyunwoo closed his eyes for a moment, thinking of Earth and all the people depending on his decisions. When he opened them again, his expression was resolute. Min-ho, bring our shields online. Full power. Shields rising, sir. Full defensive grid is now active. So Young, I want our reactors at maximum safe power. If we need to fight, I want every advantage we can get. Reactors responding, Captain. We now have enough power to supply a small planet. Dongwu, warm up our weapon systems, but do not target the alien ships yet. I want them ready, but not threatening. Weapons coming online, sir. Kinetic cannons are charging, antimatter torpedoes are ready, and point defense systems are active. Jihai looked at her captain with sad eyes. Sir, should I send another peace message? Hyunwoo thought for a moment. Yes. Tell them that we are a peaceful species, but we will defend ourselves if attacked. Make it clear that we don't want to fight, but we won't be conquered either. The message was sent, but the alien response was immediate and final. Every ship in the Vorthak fleet lit up as their weapons reached full charge. Energy readings spiked across the Dihan's Fury's sensors. They're preparing to fire, Minho announced. All ships are targeting us, Dongwu confirmed. They mean to destroy us. Commander Thexval smiled with satisfaction as he looked at his fleet's formation. The unknown ship was now surrounded by 200 armed vessels, all ready to fire. Their surrender demand had been ignored, which meant it was time for the traditional Vorthak solution to diplomatic problems. Signal all ships, he commanded. Fire at will. Destroy that vessel. The space around the Dahan's Fury suddenly erupted, in brilliant light as 200 plasma cannons fired at once. Streams of superheated energy lanced through space, converging on the human ship like spears of liquid fire. The combined firepower was enough to crack a moon in half. On the human ship, So Young watched her shield readings with professional calm. Direct. Hits on all shield sections, she reported. Energy output equivalent to a Class G star's corona. Shields are holding at 97%. The alien weapons continued firing, pouring more energy into their attack. Plasma streams that could melt mountains struck the human shields and simply disappeared, absorbed by technology that the Vorthak couldn't even understand. After 30 seconds of continuous fire, the alien weapons fell silent. Their energy banks were temporarily drained, and they needed time to recharge. Commander Thexval stared at his sensors in complete disbelief. "Status report," he demanded. "Sir, all ships fired at maximum power for 30 seconds. We hit the target, with enough energy to destroy a battle fleet, but their ship appears to be completely undamaged." Thexval felt a cold feeling in his stomach for the first time in his military career. What kind of species could absorb that much firepower and not even be scratched? On the Dahan's Fury, Captain Hyun-woo realized that peaceful contact was no longer possible. These aliens had chosen war, and now humanity would have to respond. The next few minutes would determine whether humans would be seen as victims or victors in their first galactic conflict. Captain Hyun-woo stared at the tactical display showing 200 alien ships surrounding his vessel. The space around them still glowed with the fading energy of the massive alien attack. His ship had just absorbed enough firepower to destroy a small planet, and his crew was looking at him with calm professionalism. "Damage report," he ordered, though he already knew what So Young would say. "No damage to report, Captain," the chief engineer replied, checking her readings. "Shields absorbed the entire attack. We're still at 97% shield strength. The aliens' weapons barely registered against our defensive systems." Minho looked up from his tactical station with amazement. "Sir, I've never seen anything like that attack. They hit us with the combined firepower of their entire fleet, and it was like throwing stones at a mountain. Their weapons are actually quite advanced," So Young added, studying the energy patterns from the attack. "Plasma-based systems with good focusing technology. Against any Earth ship from 50 years ago, that attack would have been devastating. But our current shield technology is simply beyond their understanding." Ji-hai monitored the alien communications channels. "Captain, they're transmitting frantically to each other. Their language is becoming clearer to our computers. They seem to be in complete shock that their attack failed." Dongwoo turned from his weapons console. "Sir, request permission to return fire." Captain Hyunwoo hesitated. These aliens had attacked first, and they clearly intended to conquer or destroy humanity. But returning fire would mean starting a war with an entire alien empire. Once that line was crossed, there would be no going back. "What are our options, Dongwoo?" "We have several choices, sir. We could use our point defense lasers to disable their ships without destroying them. We could fire kinetic rounds at low power to damage their engines. Or," he paused, "or what? We could fire a single kinetic round at minimum power as a warning shot. Show them what they're dealing with without causing too much damage." On the Vorthak flagship, Commander Thexaval was trying to understand what had just happened. His most powerful weapons had hit the human ship directly, and nothing had happened. Nothing at all. "Run the attack again," he ordered. "All ships. Second attack. Pattern. Focus all fire on one section of their hull." "Sir," his tactical officer said nervously, "our weapons need time to recharge. That last attack drained our energy banks." "How long?" "At least 10 minutes for full power, sir." Thexval felt panic rising in his chest. In his long military career, he had never encountered shields that could absorb that level of firepower without even flickering. What kind of technology did these humans possess? "Sir," his communications officer interrupted, "we're receiving a transmission from the human vessel." "What do they say?" "They're asking us to withdraw immediately. They say they don't want to fight, but they will defend themselves if we continue attacking." Thexval's pride was hurt. No unknown species had ever dared to threaten the Vorthak Empire. "Send a response. Tell them they will surrender or be destroyed. We don't retreat from anyone." Back on the Dahan's Fury, Ji-hai shook her head sadly. "They're refusing to withdraw, Captain. They're demanding our surrender again and threatening to destroy us. Captain Hyun-woo made his decision. Dong-woo, prepare a kinetic round. Minimum power setting. Target the flagship, but aim to miss by a few kilometers. I want them to see what our weapons can do without actually hitting them. Yes, sir. Loading kinetic round into Tube 1, setting power to minimum level, about 15% of light speed. 15% of light speed? So, Young asked, with surprise. Sir, even at minimum power, that round will... I know, Hyun-woo said quietly, but they need to understand what they're dealing with. Fire when ready, Dong-woo. Round away, sir. The tungsten kinetic round was the size of a small car and weighed several tons. It launched from the Daehan's Fury's main cannon at 15% of light speed, moving faster than anything the Vorthak had ever seen. Dong-woo had aimed it to pass just behind the alien flagship as a warning, but space combat involves calculations across vast distances, and even the smallest error can have huge consequences. The round that was supposed to miss the flagship by several kilometers struck it directly in the center. At 15% of light speed, the tungsten projectile hit the Vorthak flagship with the force of a small nuclear weapon. The alien ship simply ceased to exist. It didn't explode or break apart. It was completely vaporized. One moment it was there, the next moment there was only empty space and a rapidly expanding cloud of atoms. The entire Vorthak fleet stopped moving. Every ship hung motionless in space as their crews tried to process what they had just witnessed. Their flagship, the pride of their fleet, had been erased from existence by a single shot. On the Daehan's Fury, the bridge was silent for several seconds. Dong-woo, Captain Hyun-woo said quietly. I thought you said you were aiming to miss. I was, sir. I aimed the shot to pass behind their flagship by at least 5 kilometers, but... He checked his targeting computer. Sir, their ship moved forward just as I fired. They must have been trying to close distance for another attack. The flagship is completely gone, Min-ho reported, his voice showing shock. I'm not reading any debris larger than a few atoms. That ship just... disappeared. So Young was checking her sensors. Captain, the energy release from that impact was massive. At 15% of light speed, even our smallest kinetic round carries tremendous destructive power. I don't think their ship had any chance of surviving. Ji-Hai was monitoring alien communications. Sir, the remaining ships are transmitting emergency signals. They're calling for reinforcements and reporting contact with an unknown superweapon. Commander Klixdar, who had been second in command on the Vorthak flagship, was now the senior officer of the fleet. He stared at the empty space where his commander's ship had been just moments before. In 30 years of military service, he had never seen anything like this. What was that weapon? He asked his tactical officer. Unknown, sir. Our sensors detected a small projectile moving at incredible speed. It struck the flagship and the ship was completely destroyed. No explosives, no energy beam, just kinetic impact. How fast was it moving? Sir, our computers say it was traveling at about 15% of light speed. But that's impossible. Nothing can accelerate solid matter to that velocity. Klixdar felt sick to his stomach. If the humans could fire projectiles at 15% of light speed, then the Vorthak fleet was completely outmatched. Such technology was beyond anything his empire possessed. Sir, the communications officer called out, we're receiving another transmission from the human ship. What do they say? They're apologizing, sir. They say the shot was meant to be a warning that missed its target. They're asking us to withdraw and offering to discuss peaceful contact. Klixdar couldn't believe what he was hearing. The humans had just destroyed their flagship with a weapon beyond Vorthak understanding, and they were calling it an accident? A warning shot that missed? If that was their idea of a warning shot, what could they do when they were really trying? To fight? Sir, what are your orders? His tactical officer asked. Klixdar looked at his remaining ships. 199 vessels that had seemed so powerful just minutes ago. Now they felt like toys facing a giant. Signal the fleet, he said quietly. All ships maintain position but do not fire. Send a message to Imperial Command. Tell them we have encountered a species with technology far beyond our own. Tell them the flagship was destroyed by what the humans called a warning shot. On the Daehan's Fury, Captain Hyun-woo watched the alien fleet holding position but not attacking. They're not running away, he observed. No, sir, Minho confirmed. But they're not attacking either. I think we got their attention. Indeed we did, Hyunwoo said grimly. I just hope we didn't start a war we can't finish. But across the galaxy, word of humanity's display of power was already spreading through alien communication networks. The age of human isolation was over, and the galaxy would never be the same. The news traveled across the galaxy faster than light itself, carried by the Vorthax quantum communication network. In the space of minutes, every major civilization in 3 spiral arms knew that something extraordinary had happened at the edge of known space. On the Vorthak homeworld of Zektar, Empire Commander Zethmore was enjoying his morning meal when the emergency transmission arrived. The elderly Vorthak leader had ruled the Empire for 40 years, conquering dozens of species and expanding Vorthak territory across thousands of star systems. Sir, his aide interrupted nervously. Urgent message from the Frontier Fleet. Zethmore set down his eating utensils with annoyance. This better be important, Yilrex. I don't like being disturbed during meals. Sir, Commander Thexval's fleet has encountered an unknown species. They report impossible weapons technology. Impossible? Zethmore laughed. Nothing is impossible. For the Vorthak Empire, what species dares to resist us? They call themselves humans, sir. But, sir, Commander Thexval is dead. His flagship was destroyed by a single shot. The eating chamber fell silent. Zethmore's 4 eyes focused on his aide with deadly intensity. Repeat that. The flagship was completely destroyed, sir. Vaporized. Commander Clicksdar reports that the humans called it a warning shot that missed its target. For the first time in decades, Zethmore felt genuine fear. The Vorthak flagship was the most powerful warship in their fleet, protected by the best shields and armor their technology could provide. If it had been destroyed by a single shot, and that shot was meant to miss, then these humans possessed weapons beyond Vorthak understanding. Send me all the sensor data immediately, he ordered, and contact the War Council. We need to analyze this threat. Meanwhile, on the bridge of the Dahan's Fury, Minho was monitoring long-range communications. His face grew pale as he studied the readings. Captain, you need to see this, he said urgently. What is it, Minho? The aliens are transmitting on multiple frequencies across the galaxy. They're using some kind of instant communication system that works faster than light. And, sir, our little encounter is being broadcast everywhere. Captain Hyunwoo felt his stomach drop. Everywhere? Yes, sir. I'm detecting communication signals reaching at least 12 different star systems. The word about our ship and our weapons is spreading to other alien civilizations. So, Young looked up from her engineering station with concern. Captain, if other aliens learn about our technology, they might see us as a threat. Or worse, they might want to capture our ship to study our weapons. Ji Hai was working frantically at her communications console. Sir, I'm picking up responses from multiple sources. There are at least 4 different alien languages in these transmissions. This isn't just the Vorthak Empire. There are other civilizations out here. Can you translate any of it? Hyunwoo asked. Some of it, sir. The computer is getting better at alien languages. Most of the chatter seems to be about us. They're calling us everything from the new threat to the Deathbringers to the God species. Dongwoo shook his head grimly. So much for peaceful first contact. Across the galaxy, 3 major civilizations were reacting to the news in very different ways. In the crystal cities of Luxara Prime, the Ethereal Collective was holding an emergency council session. The Ethereals were beings of pure energy who had achieved peace through thousands of years of careful diplomacy. Their leader, an ancient being known as Brightstar, floated above the council chamber in a form of shifting light. The reports from the Vorthak border are disturbing, Brightstar communicated to the assembly through thought waves. A species capable of destroying Vorthak warships with single shots represents either a great opportunity or a terrible threat. What do we know? About these humans? Asked another Ethereal. Very little. The Vorthak attacked them without attempting proper first contact. But the humans' response suggests both tremendous power and restraint. They destroyed only 1 ship when they could have destroyed the entire fleet. Should we attempt contact? Yes, Brightstar decided. But carefully. If these humans are as powerful as the reports suggest, we must approach them with respect and caution. Send our fastest diplomatic vessel to their location. On the war world of Krondar, the Kronar Republic was having a very different reaction. General Vex Tar, the supreme military commander of the reptilian species, slammed his clawed fist on the strategy table as he studied the Vorthak reports. "This is unacceptable," he roared to his assembled officers. "No species should possess weapons of this magnitude. They represent a threat to the natural order of the galaxy." "Sir," one of his colonels asked nervously, "what are your orders?" "Full military alert. Every ship in the fleet is to be prepared for immediate deployment. If these humans think they can intimidate the galaxy with their superweapons, they're about to learn that the Kronar Republic fears nothing. Should we attempt diplomatic contact first?" Vextar's eyes glowed with anger. "Diplomacy is for the weak. These humans destroyed a Vorthak flagship without warning. That tells us everything we need to know about their intentions. They must be stopped before they can establish a foothold in our galaxy." Back on the Dahan's Fury, So Young made a disturbing discovery as she analyzed the alien communication patterns. "Captain," she called out urgently, "I've been studying the alien technology levels based on their transmissions. Sir, we have a serious problem." "What kind of problem?" "Our technology is so far beyond galactic standards that we could accidentally start a war just by existing. These aliens use plasma weapons that we consider primitive. Their shields can't stop our weakest weapons. Their ships are smaller and slower than anything in our fleet." "What are you saying?" "I'm saying that a single human ship like ours could probably fight their entire civilizations and win. We're not just advanced compared to them, we're practically gods compared to them." The implications of So Young's words sank in around the bridge. They weren't just representatives of humanity making first contact. They were a force so powerful that other species might have no choice but to surrender or fight to the death. Min Ho was studying tactical data from the alien transmissions. "Captain, I'm analyzing the fleet compositions of the various alien empires. Based on their communication patterns, the largest alien fleet I can identify has about 5,000 ships. But sir..." "But what?" "Even 5,000 of their ships wouldn't be a serious threat to us. Our shields can absorb their weapons, and our weapons can destroy their ships faster than they can replace them." Ji-Hai received another burst of alien communications. "Sir, more civilizations are responding to the news. I count at least 8 different species now aware of our presence. Some seem frightened, others seem angry, and a few seem curious. Any peaceful responses?" Hyunwoo asked hopefully. "Yes, sir. There's one group calling themselves the Ethereal Collective. They're transmitting mathematical sequences and what appear to be peaceful intentions. They're requesting permission to approach for diplomatic contact." "That's encouraging," Hyunwoo said. "What about the others?" "Mixed reactions. Some are demanding that we leave their territory immediately. Others are asking for demonstrations of our technology. And..." She paused. "And what?" "And some are discussing whether they should attack us before we can attack them." The bridge fell silent as the crew realized the enormity of their situation. Humanity had achieved its dream of making contact with alien life, but that contact had revealed that humans were so technologically advanced that they posed an existential threat to every other species in the galaxy. "Sir?" Dongwu said quietly. "What are your orders? Do we stay and try to fix this situation, or do we return to Earth and let the diplomats handle it?" Captain Hyunwoo looked at the tactical display showing alien fleets moving across the galaxy. Some were approaching their position, others were retreating to defensive positions, and still others were massing for what looked like coordinated attacks. "We stay," he decided. "We started this situation, and we need to see it through. Besides, if we leave now, these aliens might follow us back to Earth. We need to establish some kind of peaceful relationship here and now." But as alien fleets continued to mobilize across the galaxy, it was becoming clear that peaceful relationships might not be possible. Humanity had announced its presence in the worst possible way, by accidentally demonstrating that it possessed the power to conquer the galaxy. The question now was whether other species would accept humanity's peaceful intentions, or whether they would decide that the only safe human was a dead human. Within hours of the incident, 3 massive fleets were moving through space toward the location of the Dahan's Fury. Each represented a different philosophy about how to deal with the sudden appearance of humanity's overwhelming technological superiority. The first to arrive was a single ship from the Ethereal Collective, materializing in a flash of beautiful silver light just outside the Vorthak formation. The vessel was unlike anything the humans had ever seen, a graceful construction of crystal and energy that seemed to bend light around itself. "Captain," Jihai reported, "we're receiving a transmission from the new arrival. It's using mathematical sequences and peaceful symbols. They're requesting permission to communicate." "Granted," Captain Hyunwoo ordered. "Let's see if someone in this galaxy believes in peaceful contact." The image that appeared on their main screen was breathtaking. A being of pure light and energy floated in what looked like a crystal chamber. Its form shifted constantly, sometimes appearing almost human-like, other times becoming abstract patterns of glowing particles. "Greetings, humans of the vessel Dahan's Fury," the being spoke, its voice like musical chimes. "I am Ambassador Luxara of the Ethereal Collective. We come seeking peaceful dialogue." Captain Hyunwoo stepped forward. "Ambassador Luxara, I am Captain Hyunwoo. We welcome peaceful contact. We regret the incident with the Vorthak ship." "We understand it was not intentional," Luxara replied. "But the implications concern us greatly. Your technology appears to be far beyond anything in our galaxy. We must discuss how our civilizations can coexist peacefully." Before Hyunwoo could respond, Minho's tactical display lit up with new contacts. "Captain, we have incoming ships, large formation approaching from Galactic South." The space around them suddenly filled with dark angular vessels emerging from hyperspace. These ships were clearly built for war, black hulls covered in weapon, ports, aggressive designs that seemed to radiate menace. There were 50 of them, each about the same size as the Vorthak vessels, but more heavily armed. Kronar Republic fleet, Jihai identified, reading their transmissions. "They're demanding that we surrender immediately for the safety of the galaxy." The lead Kronar ship transmitted a message to all vessels in the area. General Vextar's reptilian face appeared on screens across the fleet. Scales dark green, eyes yellow and predatory, teeth visible in a permanent snarl. "Unknown humans," he growled. "You have demonstrated weapons of mass destruction in galactic space. The Kronar Republic cannot allow such threats to exist. You will surrender your vessel for inspection and disarmament, or you will be destroyed." Ambassador Luxara's energy form flickered with what might have been alarm. "General Vextar, these humans have shown restraint. They could have destroyed the entire Vorthak fleet but chose not to. Perhaps we should attempt peaceful negotiations." "Peaceful negotiations," Vextar spat. "The Ethereals always choose weakness over strength. These humans destroyed a Vorthak flagship with a single shot. They are too dangerous to be allowed to roam free." On the Dahan's Fury, Captain Hyunwoo found himself in an impossible situation. The Ethereals wanted peace, the Kronars wanted war, and the Vorthak fleet was still surrounding them, confused and demoralized. "Sir," So Young called from her engineering station, "I'm detecting massive energy buildups in the Kronar ships. They're charging weapons." "What kind of weapons?" "Plasma cannons, similar to the Vorthak but more powerful. And sir, they're also carrying what appear to be nuclear warheads." Dongwu looked up from his weapons console. "Captain, those Kronar ships are taking aggressive positions. They mean to attack. Can our shields handle their weapons?" "Easily, sir. Their technology is similar to the Vorthak. Even 50 ships won't pose a serious threat to us." But before anyone could fire, space lit up again as a third fleet arrived. These ships were different from both the elegant ethereal vessel and the aggressive Kronar warships. They were massive, crude-looking vessels that seemed to have been built from scavenged parts. "Unknown fleet," Jihai reported. "They're transmitting identification as the Free Worlds Alliance. It appears to be a collection of species that broke away from the major empires." The Free World ships positioned themselves between the Kronar fleet and the human vessel. Their leader, a scarred alien with cybernetic implants, appeared on the communication screen. "This is Admiral Kexmon of the Free Worlds Alliance," he announced. "We claim protection rights for the human vessel under galactic salvage law." "Salvage law?" General Vextar roared. "These humans are not salvage. They are a threat that must be eliminated." According to our sensors, Admiral Kexmon replied calmly, the human vessel could destroy every ship in this system without breaking a sweat. If anyone is salvage here, it's us. We're offering our protection in exchange for access to their technology. Captain Hyunwoo watched the situation spiraling out of control. 3 alien fleets were now arguing over what to do with his ship, while he was trying to figure out how to prevent a 4-way battle that could destroy any hope of peaceful relations. Captain, Minho said urgently, the Kronar ships are moving into attack formation. They're targeting both us and the Free World's fleet. The Vorthak ships are also moving, Dongwu added. It looks like they're trying to withdraw from the area. Ambassador Luxara's voice cut through the growing chaos. All vessels, please maintain peaceful positions. Violence will serve no one's interests. Violence is the only language some species understand, General Vextar snarled. Kronar fleet, prepare to engage the human vessel. If we cannot capture their technology, we will ensure no one else can have it either. Free World's fleet, defensive positions, Admiral Kexamon ordered. Protect the humans at all costs. Captain Hyunwoo realized that the situation was about to explode into the first multi-species battle in galactic history, with his ship at the center of it. He had to do something to prevent a war. All stop, he ordered. Dongwu, power up. All weapon systems, but do not target anyone yet. So Young, shields to maximum power. Minho, scan all ships in the area and give me full tactical data. Sir, Minho reported, combined enemy fleet strength is about 100 ships. Weapons range from plasma cannons to nuclear missiles. But what? Sir, we could destroy every ship in this system in under 5 minutes. Our weapons are that much more powerful than theirs. So Young was studying the technical data from all 3 alien fleets. Captain, I've analyzed their technology levels. These civilizations have been fighting each other for thousands of years with roughly equal technology. The appearance of our ship has completely upset the balance of power. What do you mean? I mean that whichever alien faction becomes our ally will become the dominant power in the galaxy, and the others know it. That's why they're all here. They're fighting for the right to either control us or destroy us. Jihai was monitoring communications from all the fleets. Captain, the situation is getting worse. The Kronar are threatening to attack in 30 seconds. The Free World's alliance is preparing to defend us. The Ethereals are pleading for peace, and the Vorthak are requesting permission to withdraw. And, if we leave? Hyunwoo asked. If we leave, sir, they'll probably follow us. Or worse, they'll fight each other for the right to hunt us down. Our appearance has destabilized their entire political structure. Captain Hyunwoo looked at the tactical display showing over 100 alien ships in various states of aggression, confusion, and fear. His decision in the next few minutes would determine whether humanity's first contact with galactic civilization resulted in peace or in the first interstellar war in galactic history. General Vex Tar, he said, opening a communication channel. To the Kronar fleet, Admiral Kexmon, Ambassador Luxara, I propose we discuss this situation like civilized beings before anyone does something we'll all regret. The time for discussion is over, General Vextar replied. Kronar fleet, open fire! And with that, the galaxy's first multi-species battle began with humanity caught in the middle of forces they were only beginning to understand. The space around the Dahan's fury erupted into chaos as the Kronar fleet opened fire. Plasma beams and nuclear missiles streaked through the void, but not toward the human ship. General Vextar had decided that if he couldn't destroy the humans, immediately he would eliminate their potential allies first. The Free World's alliance ships returned fire, their makeshift weapons blazing against Kronar shields. The ethereal vessel tried to move to a safe distance while broadcasting peace messages on all frequencies. The remaining Vorthak ships scattered, wanting no part of a battle between major galactic powers. Captain, Minho reported, the aliens are fighting each other, not us. The Kronars are trying to destroy the Free World's fleet. Why aren't they attacking us? Hyunwoo asked. I think they've realized what we realized, So Young said grimly. We're too powerful to attack directly. They're fighting for the right to either ally with us or be the last one standing when we choose sides. Captain Hyunwoo watched alien ships exploding on his screen and felt sick. This battle was happening because of his ship's presence. These beings were dying because humanity had accidentally revealed its technological superiority. Enough, he said quietly. Then louder, Dongwu, prepare a kinetic round. Minimum power again, But this time, I want you to hit empty space between the fleets. Sir, I'm going to remind them all what they're really dealing with. The tungsten projectile fired from the Dihan's Fury at 15% of light speed, passing between the battling fleets and striking nothing but empty space. But the energy release from the round's passage created a brilliant flash visible throughout the system, and the gravitational effects were measurable on every ship's sensors. The battle stopped immediately. Every alien vessel ceased firing and turned toward the human ship with what could only be described as terror. "Attention all vessels," Captain Hyun-woo broadcast on all frequencies. "This battle ends now. We did not come here to cause war between your peoples. We came seeking peaceful contact and friendship." General Vextar's voice crackled with static and barely controlled fear. You fired between our fleets. That shot would have destroyed any ship it touched." "Yes," Hyun-woo replied simply. "That's why we fired between you instead of at you. We don't want to destroy anyone. We want to talk." Ambassador Luxara's energy form pulsed with what might have been relief. "The humans show wisdom beyond their years. Perhaps there is hope for peaceful coexistence." Admiral Kexmon, his ship damaged from the brief battle with the Kronars, transmitted his agreement. The Free Worlds Alliance accepts human mediation in this conflict, but General Vextar was not ready to give up. "This proves our point. The humans possess weapons that could wipe out entire civilizations. They must be stopped before they decide to use them." "General," Captain Hyun-woo said calmly, "if we wanted to destroy civilizations, would we be talking to you right now, or would we have simply fired on your fleets when they arrived?" The logic was undeniable, and even the aggressive Kronar general seemed to understand it. If the humans had wanted to start a war, they would have already won it. "What do you propose?" Vextar asked grudgingly. "A conference?" Hyun-woo replied. "Representatives from all our civilizations meeting to discuss how we can coexist peacefully. We have much to learn from each other." "And if we refuse?" Admiral Kexmon asked. "Then we return to our space and leave you to your conflicts. But we won't be conquered, and we won't be destroyed. We've proven that much." Over the next several hours, the most important diplomatic conference in galactic history took place via long-range communications. Captain Hyun-woo found himself representing not just his ship, but all of humanity in negotiations with species that had been fighting each other for millennia. The humans made their position clear. They wanted peaceful relations with all species, but they would defend themselves if attacked. They offered to share some of their less dangerous technologies in exchange for cultural and scientific knowledge from alien civilizations. Ambassador Luxara was the first to formally agree. "The Ethereal Collective welcomes humanity as friends and equals. We offer our knowledge of energy manipulation and quantum communications in exchange for your shield technology." Admiral Kexmon was quick to follow. "The Free Worlds Alliance offers full friendship and mutual defense pacts. Our shipyards and industrial facilities are at your disposal in exchange for access to your medical and agricultural technologies. Even some of the scattered Vorthak ships sent messages of surrender and requests for mercy." The once proud empire was crumbling as member species realized that their conquerors had met someone they couldn't conquer. General Vextar held out the longest, but eventually even he had to accept reality. "The Kronar Republic agrees to non-aggression pacts with humanity. We will not attack human ships or colonies. In return, we ask only that humans do not interfere in our internal affairs." "Agreed," Captain Hyun-woo replied. "We have no desire to conquer anyone." But the real breakthrough came when So Young made a suggestion that changed everything. "Captain," she said, "what if we don't return to Earth immediately? What if we stay here for a while and help these civilizations solve some of their problems? Our medical technology could save millions of lives. Our energy systems could provide clean power to entire planets. Our agricultural methods could end hunger across multiple star systems." Captain Hyun-woo considered this. By staying and helping, they could prove that humanity's intentions were truly peaceful. They could build trust and friendship instead of fear and resentment. "Minho, how long could we stay here with our current supplies?" "With our fabrication systems, sir, we could stay for years if necessary. We can manufacture anything we need from basic materials." "Ji Hai, send a message to Earth. Tell them we're extending our mission to establish proper diplomatic relations with alien civilizations. Tell them we've made contact with several species and that peaceful coexistence is possible. Yes, sir. Over. The following weeks, the Dahan's Fury became the center of a new kind of galactic community. Human medical teams worked with ethereal energy healers to cure diseases that had plagued multiple species for centuries. Human engineers collaborated with Free World's technicians to build clean energy systems for war-torn planets. Even the proud Kronars eventually asked for help when a plague struck their home world. Captain Hyunwoo didn't hesitate to send medical aid, proving once again that humanity's power came with compassion. The Vorthak Empire, formally dissolved as member species, chose to join the growing alliance of civilizations working together instead of fighting each other. Former enemies became research partners, sharing knowledge and resources for the benefit of all. Dongwu found himself teaching alien weapons specialists about defensive technologies instead of offensive ones. The humans have taught us something important, he told a mixed group of Kronar and Free World's officers. True strength comes from protecting others, not destroying them. Ambassador Luxara visited the human ship regularly, her energy form becoming a familiar sight on the bridge. You have changed our galaxy in ways we never imagined possible, she told Captain Hyunwoo. Not through conquest, but through hope. 6 months after their first encounter with the Vorthak fleet, Captain Hyunwoo finally sent his final report to Earth. Mission accomplished beyond all expectations. We have established peaceful relations with multiple alien civilizations. Former enemies are now allies. The galaxy is more peaceful than it has been in thousands of years. We are no longer alone in the universe, and neither is anyone else. Humanity has earned its place among the stars not through the power of our weapons, but through the strength of our character. The age of galactic cooperation has begun, and humanity will be remembered as the species that chose to build bridges instead of walls. The galaxy had indeed fallen silent, not from fear, but from wonder at what could be accomplished when beings chose cooperation over conflict. And at the center of it all was a single human ship whose crew had proven that the greatest weapon any species could possess was the wisdom to use their power responsibly. The stars no longer seemed so distant, and the future had never looked brighter.